is in England. We have a couple of Chris's here. Rosemary's in Louisiana. Nice area, Rosemary. We've got Tom. Tom in Central PA. Awesome, Tom. It's got to be pretty cold out there, right? Let's see. We've got Adrian in Montreal. Good to have you, Adrian, as well. We've got Billy from the UK. Billy, awesome. Our host is from, I think he's from London, if I'm not mistaken. We'll find out in just a bit. Rob in New Jersey. We've got Woodbridge. Sherry is in Woodbridge, VA. Good to have you, Sherry. Tom says it's 34 degrees, not bad. And we've got Mary from New Zealand. Mary, it's got to be pretty late for you, huh? Thank you. Thank you for being with us. Talk about dedication. I like that. Florida says, Tess, good to have you. Tess, you are loyal. I love to see that. I love to see you on all of these webinars. That's awesome. We've got Molly from Toronto. Good to have you, Molly, with us. All right. So, guys, we have a fantastic guest with us tonight. A fantastic guest. You know, I really have to apologize because there's been a lot of you guys who have been asking me to get someone on this webinar series that can teach you how to make money with social media, right? And I've gotten emails from you. You guys have communicated with me by phone, on Facebook. You said, Ty, you know, I want to learn how to really maximize my potential and really monetize some of the social media stuff that, you know, I'm hearing about. Well, listen, as you know, I only like to bring you the best. And I could have brought anyone on, but timing is so important. And it just so happens to be that there's a gentleman I have quite a bit of history with. We've known each other for years, and all of a sudden, a few weeks ago, I get notified that he's doing some amazing things with sites like Twitter and Facebook and just a ton of the other social media sites that are out there. And I asked him, I said, you know, would you come on and do a webinar for my guys, for my group of people here? And he says, yes, absolutely. And I'm pretty excited to have this gentleman present to you tonight, guys. I'm going to be in the background. I'm going to be taking notes just as you are, and I'll be watching this entire presentation. So with that said, I want you to grab a pen, a pencil, a sheet of paper, a notepad, something to write notes with, and I want to welcome our guest, Caveat. Caveat, are you there?
I am, Ty. Thank you for that. I appreciate it.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate you spending your time with us. Now, you're in the UK, right?
I'm in London. I'm in London. I'm snowed in. It's been a wonderful weekend. We've just had a ton of snow come in. We'd never have that, and so yeah, that's been really fun. And we do go back a long way. You know, we both have been in the music business, and we're both doing some instrumental stuff online. So it's great to see that we can connect on a different level right now.
Absolutely. Well, I know it's pretty late for you. It's probably about 1 o'clock or so in the morning. So I really appreciate you giving your time to me and to my list of followers as well. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pass it over to you so that we can get started whenever you are. Let's take it away.
Awesome. Thank you. All right, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. For me, it's midnight right here. And I'm really looking forward. I'm really excited to get into this stuff and share it with you. Over the last 2 years, I've been doing some really fun stuff with social media. And, you know, I used to know social media from my music business, which I'll tell you about shortly. But one of the most powerful things I've discovered is how turning social media on its head has produced an incredible amount of income and lifestyle for me. And I'd like to share that with you this evening. So thanks for the opportunity, Ty. And I'm going to use the next 75 or 80 minutes or so to just get into really understanding what it is that social media is all about and how you can make this happen for yourself. So follow me through. So my purpose here today is to introduce you to the real way to get clients and make money with social media. Now, I don't know whether you're doing affiliate marketing. I don't know whether you're selling ebooks on the Kindle. I don't know whether you're doing CPA. I don't know whether you've got your own product, your own business, or anything like that. But it doesn't matter, because this strategy here that I'm going to talk to you about, the one that I've been working on fine-tuning, working with clients and massive corporations in the UK and abroad, is all about getting you getting whatever you have in front of a huge number of people. And so I'm going to show you how to do that today. I'm going to show you the system that I use, and of course a way that you can get started with my personal help this week if we feel like we're a good fit together. So here's what you're going to learn. You're going to learn how to make the most of your social media presences starting immediately, how to quickly turn your fans and followers into hot leads and sales, how to find the ideal customer using what I call the 4 market scrutinization tests. and how to quickly design campaigns for pulling in $5,000 or more each week. Now, I'm not talking about it each month, I'm talking about each week. And as you'll see, this is all a process of getting people into a relationship with you, much as you would in your personal life, I guess, building that engagement, building that relationship, and then leading them into a sale. So this is what this is all about. You're going to have a shift in understanding and value as to what social media can do for you in your business and your bank account. And you're going to leave this session here this evening or this afternoon or whatever it is for you with my tried and trusted proven 4-step system that you can start working with immediately. And when I say immediately, you're going to take away some ideas that you can start implementing as soon as we're done here. And you can go away and try a few things out of yourself. So I'm going to base this entire presentation not just on some ideas that I've picked up, not just on some screenshots or snapshots. I'm going to base this entire presentation on statistics, case studies, and best of all, third-party analysis. Because I've been out there and done research and linked up with corporations that have done research on places like Facebook, and I'm going to show you the graphs and the charts on which I base this entire system to show you that actually there is some logic behind how all this stuff works, so that it's not just a method of generating income and generating a business. It is a foolproof and real provable system. So take a look for yourself. But before we get into that, I'm just going to show you 2 case studies. Okay, 2 methods of how this entire thing works. And I'm going to just lay out these 2 campaigns for you right away, right now, and then you'll have the opportunity for yourself to go ahead and think about how this entire process works. So I'm going to share with you the 2 campaigns, and then I'm going to dissect them into the 4 systems, or the 4 steps of this system, and then at the end I'm going to come back and show you how it all works again. Okay, so you're going to see the whole picture here. Here's my first campaign that I wanted to show you. This is South Park on Facebook. Here we go. This is South Park on Facebook. And it's a fan page with over 33 million fans. Now, if you go there and check it out right now, it's probably got more than that. And if you look at some of if you're familiar with Facebook, and I hope you are, if you see some of these updates here, it says that some of these updates receive 18,000 comments or 21,000 likes, all sorts of different, even the one below it has 44,000 likes. Now, I did a bit of research, and I'm going to tell you the kind of research that I do in a minute. But I did some research, and I continued with what I call this fan page, or this marketplace, and I decided on selling characters, little toy characters, you know, like from South Park characters. Like I have no idea about what South Park is about. I have no idea. I don't really watch any of South Park, but hey, I found this as a good market from my research, and I'm going to tell you how I did that. And I found a supplier who gave me different characters of these toys, and I bought them off him for like 20 cents to 50 cents. And then I went ahead and I packaged all these different items, and I sold it for a set for $20. And within a promotional campaign, so I designed like a mini launch or a mini campaign for 8 days, I sold 398 units to this group of people, and I made $7,960 in gross sales. Now, after paying the supplier for his costs, my net profit was $7,842. Now, I'm going to show you how I dissected this. But the first thing I want you to know right from the start is that this is not a sales process. We don't like to be sold as humans. We like to be engaged in conversation, and based on that conversation, we like to be drawn, or what I call led, towards action. Nobody here likes to be sold, right? Nobody wants to have a link in front of them that says, here are South Park characters, go check out this page. Nobody wants to do that. We want to be engaged into conversation. We want to be having like a chat with somebody and have that grow into when somebody says, okay, let's go here. And that's what this is about. Here's the second one. I presume you know about this book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. It's a wonderful book. And I found this specific marketplace on Facebook, or this specific fan page on Facebook, which has 466,000 fans. And I did a bit of research about the market and the product, and I thought about it, and I did my tests, and I found that this could be a good market to go for. So I found an audio recording of the book from an audiobook retailer. Because I thought that actually there's no point in me selling the book itself, because people can just go to Barnes and Nobles or Amazon.com or whatever and buy it. So I found an audio recording of the book from an audiobook retailer online. I got a higher affiliate commission from them. I managed to negotiate that, and I packaged it with a report of my learning. So in a little Word document, I wrote down in bullet points what I learned. So I packaged the audiobook and my little report as an info product for $97. And I created this promotional campaign for 6 days. And I'll tell you about that as we get into the process, how that works. And I did that campaign on this page for 6 days, allowing me to sell 128 units, which brought in $12,416 in sales. Now when you think about that, it took me a little while to set it up, and then 6 days, and then 128 units in dollars. None of this was selling. This was all about just building a relationship with the fans on this page, and then getting them to take action. So I gave the audio retailer $30 per sale, and I made $8,576 in net profit, very simply, very easily. And I'm going to share with you this process now as we get into it. So more of these case studies will come later, so you'll get more of a flavor of how it works once we get into the 4 steps. But I just wanted to give you an insight initially as to what's possible with this and the kind of income that you can produce in a short amount of time if you get this right. Now a little bit about myself. I've been in the UK for pretty much since I was born, and I've built over the last 5 years multiple online businesses. I started off when WordPress wasn't even born, if you know what WordPress is. And I was having to code a lot of my websites in HTML and PHP and all this different language stuff. And I initially started off, because I was a musician, I set up this website called insidermusicbusiness.com. And I started selling lots of DVDs and educational programs and all sorts of things for musicians, and that took off really, really well. I mean, I struggled initially, but it took off really well. And then I ventured out, because of the model of building a business that I mastered, I ventured out into doing the same thing in plumbing and dentistry and small business and journalism and books and all sorts of different things. And I made over $5 million in the last 5 years just doing this idea of building a business. But what I've really realized is that in the last 18 months, 75% of my traffic, so all the leads and sales that I get, 75% of them come from social media. And that's a huge amount of traffic and leads to rely on in a business, but the reason it works is because of this system that I'm about to share with you here. Now I don't know if you're in the UK, if you've ever been to the UK, but there is a massive supermarket chain here called Tesco's. Just like you have Walmart or something like that. This is Tesco's. And Tesco's called upon me to hire, so they hired me basically to consult with them on this exact strategy that I'm going to share with you here. And I'm going to give you a case study of how we worked with them and the kind of results we got for Tesco. So they consulted me on how to do this. And there's also a massive corporation here called View, as in View Cinemas. And there, you go there to watch movies and all sorts. And I went out to both these corporations, as well as many others, but these two are quite notable, so I put them in, to get out there and do some consulting to help build their campaign so they can get more leads and more sales. And of course, I also run a consulting business where I have $30,000 per year clients who pay me to teach you these exact strategies in a more private and one-to-one setting. So I'm running a contest tonight, by the way. I wanted to share this with you right away from the start before we jump into the program, because I thought, if I give you some case studies, it's great, but let's do a little bit of a contest. Now, one of my favorite books of 2011 is really quite a fascinating read. It's a short, quick, simple read, and I'd like to give 2 lucky winners or lucky attendees on this webinar tonight a copy of it. So I'm going to just mail it out to you in tomorrow as soon as we're done on this webinar. But here's how you got to play. Pay very close attention to everything I share on this webinar, and right at the end I'm going to ask you 2 very important questions. Okay, and so you have 2 chances to win. The first person to answer each question will win. It really couldn't be any simpler. One of my favorite books, I'm going to tell you what the name is right at the end, and I will be more than happy to send this book out to you. I have a stack here waiting to come, and I'd like to give away 2 to any lucky attendee tonight. The reason, well, I want you to have fun. I want you to make sure you enjoy this in a fun environment. I want you to make sure you take as many notes as possible, and so that you focus in and make sure you get the most out of this session. So play full out, all right? Keep an open eye, keep an open mind, and make sure you get in as much as you can from this session. So let's start. What is social media? Well, social media is a type of online media where information is uploaded primarily through user submission. So you and I, people of the public, can go out to any of these websites and simply just add in some content, add in some status updates, upload videos, all sorts of things. We're just creating content. We're creating media. Now, web surfers, you and I, are no longer simply consumers. We don't just go out there and buy anymore. We go out there and create. And this is what this social media element is all about. because social media is a channel of communication, just like the telephone, as opposed to a form of media like just like the telephone, as opposed to a form of media like the television. So you want to consider how social media is from that point of view. It's not about getting out there and shouting your messages, because that's what most people do. That's what most experts or so-called gurus tell you to do. But actually, that's not what this is about. This is about building that relationship, engaging, but it can be done so quickly if you tap into the right place. John Patel said, social media marketing is about brands acting well social, which means, they need to show up to the party with a nice bottle of wine if that's what the party calls for, or a fruit punch, whatever it is, and they need to come ready to have a dialogue and add value to the event. You go to a networking meeting in your local area. You don't go to a networking meeting in your local area with a stack full of business cards. You pick up a drink as you enter the door and you go to the corner. Nobody does that. You get out there, you interact with the people, you have a conversation, you dialogue, you ask them how they're doing, what they're doing, how you can add value to them, and then you give them the card. That's what you need to do anyway, isn't it? But what do most people do? They just go, hey, I'm Kevin Harrier, here's my business card, speak to you soon. Right? But that's not what it's about, and that's certainly what social media is not about. So you want to consider how social media can play a key role in, or what you do can play a key role in social media. So quickly, why do we need to use social media? Social media allows you to spread the word. If you've got something to say, if you've got something to recommend, if you've got something to sell, social media allows you to get out there, build a relationship, and get the word out there. Social media, because of the strategy that we're talking about here, we're not talking about building your own fan page, because that just takes months. We're not talking about building your own Twitter account, because that takes years. We're talking about tapping in to existing marketplaces here. And so you can do so very quickly by wowing or getting in front of large numbers of people, which gives you ultimately lots of exposure and publicity. You can get out there just as you would here and speak to a huge number of people very easily. And you can stand out from the crowd. I mean, if you do this the right way, standing out from the crowd on social media is right now the most easiest thing you could ever do. If you want to leverage your business in 2012, if you want to leverage your income in 2012, the key is, one, stand out, and number two, stand out, but do it in social media, because people are doing it the wrong way. They're going out there bombarding sales messages on social media, but that's not what it's about. Stand out from the crowd. Instant credibility. I mean, you start running some stuff on social media and people pressing like and comment, you get instant credibility what it is that you're about. And it's phenomenal. Because all this ultimately means trust. And everything is all about building trust. Because if you continue building trust, and more trust, then you're ultimately going to lead people to the sale in the right way. But the problem is, most people just don't know where to start with social media. They get so confused about the entire social media landscape. So many things to do, so many places to start. Where do I start? Or how do I start? Or what is the right time to start? What is the right day to start? Well, if you've never done social media before, then you're in the right place, because number one, you're going to shorten your learning curve by not doing the stuff that doesn't work. And number two, if you've tried social media and it hasn't worked for you, well, I'm going to point out exactly why in a moment. Because you've probably followed what the so-called gurus have said and done it the wrong way, or done it the hard way. I'm not sure it's the wrong way, because I think it gets you there in the end, but getting there in the end isn't what it's about. It's about getting there now. It's about getting there in the short term, making it happen right away. Now, this map here is a snapshot from the social media landscape. Now, I don't know if you know what the social media landscape is, but I designed this graphic to say a huge amount of different things. It's got a whole lot of social media icons and elements from lots of different websites. And my key point in getting this across to you is that there is so much out there, and all you've got to do is focus on the ones that work the best. It's as simple as that, because if you go out there and create accounts, social media accounts on all of these different websites, there's no way that you're going to spend even 5 minutes on one of the websites, because there's just so many options out there. So you've got to pick a few. And in this specific webinar, although we can talk about Twitter and LinkedIn and YouTube, we're just going to drill down in the time that we have and focus on one, the biggest of them all. And we're going to use that as our experiment, or as our scenario, to display this specific system to you and how it works. Now, I'm focused on results, and I hope you are too. Because when you start where the results are going to be, you'll get there faster and easier. So I'd like to introduce you to the biggest social network in the world. Facebook. You got it. Now, Facebook has over 850 million users log in at least once in the last 30 days. Alright, so if you think about Facebook as a country, they say it's the third largest country in terms of population. Pretty huge. And out of that 850 million, for those of you that are in the US, well, 25% of US subscribers are 75% of Facebook subscribers are in the US, and the rest of them are outside the US. So for those of you that are not in the US, well, it's also a good chance for you to consider how this works. I like the idea that 50% log in every single day. I mean, that's incredible. As you're about to see in this system, no matter what you're targeting, you're going to find that people are all over the place in all sorts of different countries, and there are people logging in every single day. More than 375 million active users on Facebook Mobile, and it's easier than ever to find your target market, as I'm about to show you. Because what have we done so far? All we've done is, in the online world, is we've gone to Google and we've looked for what is the best market to go for. But this is about turning things around. This is about saying, well, if everything is gearing up towards social media, let's go to social media itself and find where these people are hanging out. Let's find what they're interested in. Let's give them what they're interested in, and let's make money from doing that. Now, TBG Digital is a massive corporation. They're a global Facebook marketing agency. They provide a quarterly report providing an in-depth analysis into how the real-world businesses and corporates are going to be using Facebook to generate leads and sales. And every month they produce this report. Every quarter they produce this report. And I subscribe to get this report that's delivered to me in my office here. And I'm taking some of the statistics from this specific report because they're very close to Facebook. And these statistics here are going to help me and help you see how this is really quite a valuable system to follow. Now, when I gave this presentation in December 2011, I presented this graph. I'm going to explain what each of these things mean so you can see it for yourself as well. Now, this shows that brand campaigns on Facebook grew by 104% between Q1 and Q2 of 2011. Now, first of all, I want you to notice that it's saying brand campaigns. That means big companies, mid-sized to massive-sized corporations all over the world are spending time on Facebook. Not only are they spending time, but it grew by 104%. Now, what does that say? 104% growth by a big company means that actually they're seeing some results from a small scale, and now they're going in at fast speed working on these big projects. Because these companies don't just throw everything they've got at it, do they? They go out there and do a little bit of testing, and then they do some ideas, and then if it works for them, then they say, all right, we're going to go at it. So the fact that they're going at it at large scale, 104%, shows you something. But I presented this in December 2011. But now in the latest report that I've just picked up, the latest update to this is this. And it says, brand marketing on Facebook increased from 47% in Q2 to 53.7% in Q3. I haven't analyzed the Q4 one yet because I haven't seen that, but if you have a look at this, it's just showing that still it's increasing. The massive jump definitely was in Q1 and Q2, but it's continuing to increase, and I presume it'll also continue to increase in Q4. That means as mid-sized companies, as big corporations are getting in on Facebook quickly, and they're getting in now, and if they're getting in, if these big companies are getting in and they're going for a large slice of the pie, isn't it okay if you and I, the small guys in this game, go in for just a small amount of the pie? We should be able to do that very easily, and I'm going to show you how with this system. Now, before we go any further, everything you've been told about how to use social media to get more leads, more sales, more revenue, more profit is what I call the hard way. I'm not saying it's the wrong way, I'm saying it's the hard way. Now I want you to meet Jeff P. Jeff P is from Boston, and he used to do it the hard way. He found his niche market in golf, and he was taught to build a fan page on Facebook by his course that he picked up somewhere else, or some guru or something. He was taught to build a fan page on Facebook. I don't know if you've been in that situation too. And start posting daily updates, and then use Facebook ads and Fiverr gigs, Fiverr.com, to start building his fan base. And the problem is, 10 months later he had 9,500 fans. Now, 9,500 fans is not a bad number, but it took him 10 months to get there. Not only did it take him 10 months to get there, but because of the model he was using, and most people use, only a handful of them were interacting with him. Do you find that on your fan page, if you've got a fan page and you've spent time building it, that only a few people are interacting, but it's taken you so long to get a huge number of people? Well, how much money did he make? He made zero, zilch, and nada. No money. Out of all that 10 months of work, he still hasn't produced any sales. Now, after learning this strategy that I'm about to share with you, Jeff was able to find and tap into existing marketplaces on Facebook. Within just 6 weeks, he reached over 800,000 fans interested in golf. He built a relationship, he engaged with them, and he drove them to his webpage. His list now has over, so this is his email list. His email list now has over 6,400 people that are interested in golf, and he sells them new training every single month. You know what he's making right now? He's making on average $2 per subscriber per month. So it's like $12,000 per month just from this piece of activity that he's been doing. That took him 6 weeks compared to what he was doing for however many months it was before. Now you can do the same, because the concept is this: instead of creating your own from scratch, find existing marketplaces, find these existing fan pages that are active. I'm going to show you how to do that in a minute. Find these existing groups, go in there and build your campaign that engages with them and leads them to the sale, as opposed to just saying sell, 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 sell. Now remember the contest. We're just about to jump into the 4-step system, so I wanted to remind you of the concept. Now, all you've got to do is listen up, listen clearly, and at the end of the session, I'm going to ask you 2 very important questions about something that I've shared on this webinar. Nothing outside of this webinar, of course. Something I've shared on this webinar, I'm going to ask you 2 questions. The first person to answer each question is going to win a copy of one of my favorite books of 2011. And tomorrow morning I'm going to post it out to you myself, so you'll get this in a few days, wherever you are, and you'll be able to read and devour this material. So I will do that for you. All you've got to do is pay attention and be ready at the end to answer the question. Now here is the 4-step immersion system for social media profits. Step 1, find, analyze, scrutinize social media marketplaces with a profit-making eye. Find, analyze, scrutinize social media marketplaces with a profit-making eye. Step 2, find out and get clear on what people want to buy and what they're prepared to pay for. Step 3, source it cheap. Prepare the sales page and sell your product. Step 4, market the deal, run your mini campaign, and pocket the profit. Now we're going to go into all these 4 steps in a little bit of detail now, each step at a time. So if you can't write all this down, don't worry, they're going to come up on each of the slides. But this is where you want to start focusing in. Now here's the process of this strategy in essence. You find a marketplace, and then you run some tests. I'll tell you what tests are in a minute. And you find a profitable niche market with a huge number of people. Now once you've done that, you've done the tests, and the tests come back positive to say that yes, there's a lot of material on this page, people are interacting, they're engaging. You discover their needs, and you find out what they want to create. So you discover their needs, and you find out what they want to create. Once you do that, you find a way to get the product. Now if you've got a product yourself, that's great. If you haven't, you get it made inexpensively, or you just do a PLR product, and I'll tell you about different options as well. And then you use a proven template system that we've designed to create the sales page. And once you do that, you design and run the mini campaign to promote it. I'll tell you how to do that. And then you pocket the profit yourself. Now what is this in essence? This is about going out there, tapping into existing marketplaces and turning it around. What do you do otherwise? You go out there and build a fan page, which is what most people tell you. Get a huge number of people on the fan page, which takes forever. And then try and build a relationship with them, which also takes forever. But just instead of that, let's say the South Park thing, for example. Remember the South Park example I shared at the beginning? Instead of me creating a South Park page that would take forever to build up to 33 million, doesn't it make sense that I tap into a page that already has that 33 million? All I've got to do is build a relationship as if I was a fan on that page, engage with them before I lead them slowly towards the sale. Rich Dad, Poor Dad as well. Doesn't it make sense for me to go and just engage with 4.5 or 400,000 fans on that page instead of trying to build my own page with that many people? Because there are pages on Facebook or on Twitter or LinkedIn or all sorts of different things with tons and tons of fans already in every single idea you could think of. But you need to know the right way to make sure that page is profitable. And the system that I'm about to share with you guarantees up to 95% that if you follow the tests, if you follow the insights, you'll prove that page will produce profit for you in 95% of the time. So let's get into it. Step 1, find, analyze, scrutinize social media marketplaces with a profit-making eye. The first step is to find profitable marketplaces. A marketplace is a group of people with similar interests or niches that are gathered in one location. You could have it as a Facebook page, a Facebook group, a LinkedIn group, it could be a Google +1 circle, it could be a slideshow, it could be any of these things. Now, what do I mean by a profitable marketplace? Now, I'm talking about you getting out onto Facebook, first coming up with some of your interests and your ideas. So first of all, think about your needs and your wants and your interests. If you've got a business already, you want to align it to that. Think about what is it that people need and want based on what it is that you're currently doing. If you don't have a business right now, and you just want to build a side income or a real income, or you want to make the money from the internet, then here's what I suggest you do. You go out to the shopping mall, the closest shopping mall to you. Here in the UK, we have shopping malls that have 2 floors, and you walk from one end of the shopping mall all the way to the other end. And when you're walking from one end to the other end, you look at all the shops on the right, and then you walk back from the other end back to this end, and you look at all the shops on that right. And what you need to do is look into all the shops, and you need to look at what's trending, what's popular. What are people, if you go into one of the shops, in the fashion shops for example, what are people going towards? What do most people seem to pick up the most? What are the most popular products that are out there in technology stores, in game stores? Because what you'll start to find is that if those stores have invested time, money, research, energy into checking out that those products are worth selling there, isn't it likely that they'll also be very popular online? And potentially you could use that, or you could find a way to tune that into the thing that you're going to sell. Because, for example, if somebody's selling a DVD on a really band that's done some really excellent stuff, then isn't it likely that they're going to be very popular online as well? People are going to be talking about them on Facebook, and there's going to be a lot of interaction. It's a wonderful way to come up with ideas if you don't know where to start with ideas. And then once you find your idea, whatever ideas you've got, you want to go out on Facebook and cross-check them. So cross-check these ideas that you've got against 18 marketplace insights and put them through the very important 4 tests that we'll talk about. Now, what are these 4 tests? The first test is this. Is the marketplace that you find, is the content that's on there relevant? So are people posting stuff on there that's relevant? Because sometimes you'll find that a lot of people spam these pages. And if people spam some of these marketplaces, then it's probably not a good place to start. But there are also equally much more of these pages that work very, very well. And if you find them that people are posting regular content, there's nice community building there, there's a huge number of people on the page. I like to say 300,000 plus in terms of the number of fans, because it makes it reasonable, it makes it so that I'm going to make a lot of money from it. So 300,000 plus fans, the content is relevant, and then the second thing is, or the third thing is are people reacting? Are people engaging? Are people connecting? If people are commenting and engaging and keeping in touch and doing all sorts of different things on that level, then yes, the content is relevant, and 2, people are also engaging. It means that, yeah, we're ready to move forward towards the second, third, and fourth of these tests. So the first test is to check for content relevancy and consistency, so there are people who are writing regularly and the content is relevant. If the pages are doing that, then you're ready to move on to the next step. And the next step is basically, one of the tests that follow is basically for you to write some of the content. Come up with a status update, a quote, a tip, a video, something, a question, something that's going to get them to engage. Because what you're looking for now is to check that they are engaging with you. If they engage with you, if they ask to answer back, if you keep writing and they keep writing and people are answering back and you're building up 5, 10, 15, 20, 50, 100 responses, then you're ready to move on to the next step. Now these tests have to be done one at a time. If you do one test and it passes, you move on to the next one. If you do that one and it passes, you move on to the next one. If you do one and it fails, you go back and you cancel that page and you try again, or you move on to another marketplace page itself. Now my research and experience has led me to collate 18 unique and must-have insights. These 18 insights help you speed up the process whilst guaranteeing you profitable marketplaces. And I'm going to share some of these insights with you here. So I'm going to share 2 of them with you here to get you started, because these 2 are really powerful insights into how this process works. Now here's insight number 4. Now I showed this graph in December on the last version of this presentation, and I'm going to show you the recent version of this presentation graph in a minute. But it says retail is the hottest growing sector on Facebook. Now if you're not, I want you to listen to that more carefully. Because if you're in a business right now, you want to think about how you can turn something of that business that you're doing into a retail angle. Maybe you're selling something small. Maybe you've got something of small value that you can give away to get people to come to you to check out what you're doing. maybe if you're not doing anything online right now, you could be going down the shopping mall and looking at what's happening in the retail market. Because if something's happening in the retail market, it means that it's going to be very hot on Facebook. And I've seen this time and time again. I mean, I've done this for 2 years, week in, week out. I've been researching idea after idea. I go to the shopping mall every 2 weeks because I'm obsessed with this stuff. I get really juiced about this stuff. So every 2 weeks I go to the shopping mall, not to buy anything, just to walk from one end to the other and see what's trending. Because they're always selling stuff. And if they're selling stuff in the stores, I come back at home and at the office and I look in on Facebook and I have a look and see whether it's popular. And would you know, most of the time, 98% of the time, the idea that I've found, that I've noted down in my phone or on my notebook, has basically come up on Facebook as being something really, really popular. So retail is growing fast. I mean, look at that chart there. Retail gets the best click-through rate. And this specific study is about click-through rate from ads, click-through rate from impressions, click-through rate from all sorts of activity on Facebook. And retail gets best CDR and grows to 36% of the total impressions in quarter 2. Now here's the latest chart. It says retail still retains the highest market share of impressions at 27%, and they expect this to grow, naturally. Now have a look at that. Retail is the biggest place there, followed by finance, maybe food and drink, games, entertainment, etc. Things like beauty and fitness are much smaller. Jobs and education, much smaller. Travel, tiny. Directories, small. Computers and electronics, also very small. Now this is the biggest clue that I'm going to give you here on this session, because all you've got to do is take this idea, look for some marketplaces relating to this, and then you're ready to do the tests, the 4 tests, which are really, really crucial to making this work. So get out there and try this out for yourselves. Now here's another insight. Insight number 12 of 18. Whilst it's obvious that business to consumer is popular and profitable, quarter 2 of 2011 has shown incredible growth in business-to-business marketplaces, suggesting that Facebook is fast becoming a valid business-to-business marketing channel, one that needs to be exploited before the big boys get in. Now let me tell you what this is about. If you're a business, or if you're somebody that sells to businesses, then this is showing me, this study is showing me, this study that I've been working on has been showing me that selling stuff to businesses on Facebook is growing very, very quickly. And if you haven't yet exploited it, then you need to get in and do that, because the corporations are slowly getting in there right now. Obviously, business to consumer is popular. Most people on Facebook are consumers, but the businesses are growing on there, and it's because of the various different elements that Facebook is creating. So you get out there and sell something to businesses, you're very likely going to have some success with it. So, remember I told you about Tesco supermarkets? Massive supermarket chain in the UK. I mean, they have a store in pretty much every single town in the UK. Now, I was hired by Tesco for this social media marketing program, and I was there to work with them to use my immersion system, the system that I'm telling you about now, to basically get out there and get more leads. Because look, they could build their own fan page, and they obviously, for Tesco to build their own fan page as a massive supermarket, it's easy. But they could build it to several hundred thousands, quite quickly. But what if I could find the millions of people? In the UK, I'm sure there are millions of people, right? So I went out there, did some research. I found the millions of people in different marketplaces. And I started to put this campaign together. Because instead of them waiting 3 years to build, several 100,000 fans on Facebook, why not get out there and do some campaigns to get to be a bit more active? So one of the campaigns was targeting homeowners that were looking for electrical appliances like dishwashers, hoovers, and washing machines. Things that you need at home, right? Now, I went out to these marketplaces and I started doing some campaigns. I did some testing. I found these pages, I put together some tests. I asked some questions on there like, do you prefer a cylindrical hoover or do you prefer a non-cylindrical hoover? Do you prefer a bagless hoover or a non-bagless hoover? Now, I hope you know what these kind of things are. Do you prefer a slimline dishwasher, one that fits slightly into a small space, or do you prefer a slightly bigger one? And I was getting a ton of responses. I know, by the way, I mentioned nothing about working for Tesco. I mentioned nothing about Tesco selling something. I'm just a fan on the page interacting, right? And I was just getting a ton of responses, like a huge number of responses were coming in. And I then said, all right, this looks good. Let me put it through the second test, the third test, the fourth test. And I got to the point where the pages I found were ready to go. I was ready to run a campaign on them. So I started a 10-day campaign on these pages to engage them into more conversation about specific electrical appliances for their home, giving them statistics about why they need things, why they need to use things, why they need to get up and do something, giving them specific ideas about how they can save money by buying these things. Because what I was doing is priming them for a special coupon offer that I was going to launch. Because what had happened was, they don't know that I was about to give them an offer for something. I'm just a fan on the page interacting. There's no hard sell whatsoever. It's just building a relationship with them. But I'm priming them. Because I know I'm going to sell them something, I was priming them for something there. And it's all quite a simple process when you can figure out how to do this. Now, I gave away a coupon, and a huge number of people downloaded this coupon. So much so that because of this process, it pulled in over £92,000, £92,000. Now, £92,000 is something like just over, maybe $250,000. And this took 10 days to run the campaign, and about 14 days before that to set it all up. So in about 30 days, let's call it 30 days, so that's just less than 30 days, we pulled in maybe over $250,000, £92,000 quite easily. That's for a big corporation like Tesco. Now, I'm not really fussed about going out there and making £92,000 in a month if I could just make $5,000 a week, $10,000 a week, $20,000 a week, etc. in campaigns. I'm sure you are too, right? So us small guys can still go out there and do some great stuff with it. So, that's step one. Let's move on to step two. I know time is pressing. Let's move on to step two. Step two says, get clear on what people will pay you money for. Now, once you've found, analyzed, and scrutinized the marketplaces, you will need to discover exactly what people are looking for. Once you've found, analyzed, and scrutinized marketplaces, you'll need to discover exactly what people are looking for. So I was going out there to ask these questions for example, let's talk about Tesco. I was going out there to ask the questions, do you prefer a slimline dishwasher or a non-slimline dishwasher, a regular dishwasher? Now, it might sound like I was about to sell them something, perhaps, but if I was just a fan on there as my personal name, or if I came up with another name or something, or a business page but with a personal business name, whatever it was, I would just be there interacting on that page. And you'll see that if you get onto Facebook and look, people are asking all sorts of questions all the time. I mean, every single minute of the day, people are asking all sorts of questions. So there's no way that it's going to look like sales. This is what I call an A and B split test. I'm doing a test to see, does somebody prefer this shoe or that shoe? And if you're creating a page around shoes, a campaign around shoes, female shoes, you could say, do you prefer this shoes or that shoes, and put two pictures up there. If you were creating a campaign about tea, I'm going to show you a case study about tea, you could put 2 images or 3 images of, maybe a chamomile tea, maybe a peppermint tea, maybe a lemon and ginger tea, and say, which one do you prefer? All you're doing is just making conversation. All you're doing is getting out there and asking. But what that also does is it allows you to move on to step 2, because you're getting to discover what people are looking for. Because doesn't it make sense that if somebody's going to say that I prefer lemon and ginger tea over chamomile and peppermint, you're going to go out there and look for something to do with lemon and ginger tea, because more people on that page fancy that. Similarly with South Park. My question to them was, do you prefer South Park DVDs or South Park characters? And to my surprise, a lot of them said characters, so I went out there and found characters. I wouldn't have decided characters if I didn't know that, right? So I did this test. And of course there are multiple sources to find out whether, what you should be selling and all sorts of different things. I always go to eBay for the first place, because if what I'm about to sell is really popular, and if people are always selling this kind of thing, then it's likely that on eBay people are going to be also buying and selling this product that I've decided to work with. Now this can be a physical product, it can be a digital product, it can be a downloadable product, it could be a CPA offer, it could be an affiliate offer, it could be an ebook on the Kindle, it could be a physical book, it could be all sorts of different things. Whatever it is, it doesn't matter. The most important thing is that product that you find needs to meet that need. So if somebody's saying that they need something, or if you're getting a signal that they need something, you need to go there and work on that. So it could be anything. It could be your music CD, it could be your MP3s, it could be an audio book that you have. Anything can be sold. And I've sold all sorts of things. I've sold physical products, I've sold drop shipping items, I've even sent people to CPA offers, I've sent people to affiliate stuff on ClickBank, I've sent people to the Kindle as well. So you could do all sorts of different things. And then once you find the product, so once you look at eBay, you find the product, you can also look on Amazon and see that what's selling well and so forth. Then you move on to step 3. And step 3 is source it cheap, prepare the sales page, and sell. Now, of course, there are two types of product, right? There's a physical product, so you can get out there and buy stock, or source from a drop shipper, or buy from a warehouse, and you could get into an agreement so that they ship out the stuff when you just sell it. Or you could get into the agreement so that you build a lot of this stuff and get it shipped to your office or your home and ship from there. So lots of different things that you could do with physical product. Now there's obviously a risk with physical product that there's a slightly higher fee for that, and if you end up with all this stock, what are you going to do if you don't sell it? Which is why I place so much emphasis on the first step, which is all about getting people to the testing process. If you get up all the testing steps done, then 95% of the chances are you're going to do well with that page, and you limit your chances of failure with this. I've been doing this for 2 years, like I've said, right? So I've run this campaign time and time again, week in, week out, for myself and for my clients. And I've not found a system that hasn't proven so successful each time it works. And I've tried a whole lot of systems because I've been doing this for 6 or 7 years online. So digital products, you can also do digital products. You can sell ebooks, you can sell PLR material, private label rights, a product that's already completely made for you. You just take that material. I always recommend that if you do that, you still rehash the material, go in there, buy maybe 2 or 3 PLR materials, and then create up your own ebook or video or whatever, so that you're not exactly selling what 100 other people are also selling. So go out there and recreate your own material as well. This stuff can be done easily. It can also be outsourced very easily. You can go to elance.com, for example, post a job there and get somebody to write an ebook for $200 or something. You could do all sorts of different things. So the scope of creating the product is endless. The most important thing is when you find the marketplace and you decide what they want, this step becomes easy. So once you've figured out what it is you're going to sell, you need to create the sales page. I've tested long sales pages. I know we hate long sales pages, but they work, right? And I've tested long sales pages. I've also tested, with this entire process, Amazon-style sales pages. The short sales pages with a few paragraphs, a few bullet points, and descriptions, and all sorts of things. And what I found, having tested this in over 50 different campaigns, is that long sales pages in terms of the look and the style work very well, but the idea of having such a long page doesn't work very well. And Amazon style pages work very well, but they have to be fused together. So I had my designer go out there and create a specific template system, one that somebody could go in and it would simply ask a few questions. It would say, what is your headline? And it puts that in. What are your 3 paragraphs of pure benefit? And it puts that in. It says, what are your 5 testimonials? And it puts that in. What is your YouTube video link? And it puts that in. What is your photograph link? And it puts that in. And what is your payment link? And it puts that in. So those are the key areas. And then you press create my page. And then it creates this entire page of how this thing works. So this proven template follows a set structure. It follows the fact that you need to include a headline, 3 paragraphs of pure benefit, not features, not this is a DVD and it's green colored and it's Blu-ray. I mean, I want to know this DVD is going to teach you how to make more money with your music career so that you can be quitting your job very easily. For example, it's going to have some frequently asked questions, maybe some testimonials. Testimonials are the key to making this work. I've tried a page, funny enough, I've tried a page with 5 testimonials, with 3 testimonials, and with 10 testimonials. And I've also tried a page with 0 testimonials, but I thought I could just go out there and sell. The one with 0 doesn't work at all. So if you need to get somebody to review your product very quickly, send it over to your friend, send it over to your family, get them to just give you a testimonial and put that up there for now. That's a good start. And then using the same template, we create a second page, which is more like a thank you page. So once they go out there and press add to cart, then they can go to the thank you page and also buy, they can be thanked for their purchase. Now here's the other thing. This doesn't have to be used to sell something. If you don't want to go out there and make sales right away, but you're more interested, maybe you're a coach, maybe you're a consultant, maybe you're a trainer, maybe you're a service business, maybe you're just an offline business, something, and you just want to get leads from social media, because you know that whatever you're going to sell, you can sell separately. So the most important thing you need to do is give away something and get leads. Well, you can do exactly the same thing. Instead of having an add to cart button, you just replace it with an opt-in form, a name and email address form with a submit button, and it works in exactly the same way. And then once you're done, you're ready to run the mini campaign and pocket the profit. Now once you've created the sales platform, it's time to design your mini campaign to launch your product to your marketplace. Now I don't know if you've heard about Jeff Walker. He's created this thing called a product launch formula. And it helps you create buzz, awareness, and a cycling of sales for your chosen social media marketplace. Now here's the thing. Jeff has missed out a key element on this. especially when it comes to running this kind of social media campaign immersion style system that I'm talking about here. So what you need to do is design a campaign with content, with excitement, with energy, interaction, and engagement. But you don't have a lot of space to do that, right? Because Facebook, your updates need to be short, sharp, and to the point, so people are interacting with you. So from what I've learned from Jeff, I've taken a lot of his ideas and added a lot of my material to it. And I've created this entire system for designing a mini campaign. But here's the most important thing, here's the crux of it all. Your level of engagement and interaction on your marketplace is a representation of how much money you'll make when you launch. There are 3 stages to running a campaign on like this. Maybe it's a 6-day campaign, an 8-day campaign, a 10-day or 12-day campaign, so that at the end of the 12 days you have $7,000, $8,000 in your bank account from the sales that you make. There are 3 stages. There's a pre-launch, there's a launch, and there's a post-launch. The entire process is built by this process of engaging and leading. If you engage people enough in the pre-launch, they're going to be ready during launch and post-launch to lead into the sale. There is never any hard sell involved on social media. Hard sells don't work. If you see somebody on social media and they say, I'm producing a free workshop and I want you to go check this out, do you click on it? Hardly, right? I mean, you kind of just ignore it and go past it. But what if there's a good quote, a funny image, a really useful video, something that's engaging, something that's in tune with what it is that you want to do? Don't you just go there and check it out and comment and click? That's what this is about. Engaging authentically, engaging from the heart, engaging right from the word go, without even worrying about selling. When you follow the formula and get these 2 things right, you're on your way to weekly profits easily. And that's what this process is all about. Now let me show you some real life case studies and examples of the immersion system in action. And I'll try and dissect them as I go through so you can see how the 4-step system that I've just explained to you can work in these systems. Now this page has 5.6 million fans. It's all about soccer. And Alvin, who's a student in the UK, created this page. Sorry, he didn't create this page, but he used this page. He found this page as a marketplace to go out there and do some work. And he found a PLR product, which was a soccer course. He bought the soccer course for $29.99 online on a PLR website. And basically what he did is he was interested in soccer, he did the test. He went onto the pages and he asked various different questions. And he asked different questions, and he put some videos up, and he started getting some responses. He engaged with those responses. Remember the engaging and lead principle? A very, very key and important principle. So he took that principle, he started engaging, started leading with them. And then he took the course, he kind of revamped it a little bit into his own course, and he used some outsources to create a sales and download page. You know the template I showed you? Well, he got some outsources to do that. And he decided that because he'd revamped the product, he was happy to sell it for $47 each. So he connected them by a PayPal button, and he charged $47 on the sales page. And then he did the testing, which took about 4 or 5 days, and then he designed a 12-day campaign using the engaging and lead process that I've talked about. I teach in my program 8 mental triggers for helping people to engage, and these things, help you to, if you incorporate these triggers into your campaign, it gets people engaging so quickly, so easily, that it doesn't even look like you're selling. And then we talk about 16 principles of influence to get them to move towards your sales page. So he promoted on this page for 12 days and he made 92 sales, which is a total of $4,328 in profit. Now who would like that much in 12 days of work, right? Not bad as an income. Now remember this South Park page I told you about? Some status updates receive up to 18,000 comments and 21,000 likes. And if you remember now the process I've talked to you about, I started asking questions. And you can see the number of responses that people are getting here. So I got a huge number of responses. And I started running this campaign. So using some triggers of photographs and using some triggers of videos and stories, I started getting people engaging in the process. And then I directed them to the sales template that I built, and I had people 398 units sold, and I made $7,842 in net profit. Remember the Rich Dad Poor Dad fan page? After doing some research about the market and the product, I found an audio recording of the book from an audiobook retailer, and I packaged it with a report of my learnings. Now the audiobook retailer had an affiliate program, but I went to him and said, look, I'm going to pull together a campaign to promote your audiobook. I need you to give me a higher commission because I'm going to put more effort in. It took a little bit of while of nudging, but he then agreed. and I only paid them $30 per sale for the audio book that I downloaded, because it was quite a big package of Rich Dad Poor Dad books that I was selling. So I packaged it all together and I sold it for $97. And after promoting it to the marketplace for 6 days, I'd sold 128 units and made $12,000 in sales. Now the total time it took to set this all up, 2 hours for the research, so that was 2 hours over the span of 1 week to research the process, 3 hours for creating the sales page, writing it, the report up and setting it up, which is it's a very simple sales page. You don't need to have any technical skill to do it. You have a WordPress account, we apply a theme to that, a theme that we've custom built that's not available anywhere else, and of course you go in and fill up the sales form and then you get the entire thing set up. And then the campaign takes a little bit of time to think about, to make sure that you've included the 8 mental triggers and the 16 principles of influence. And it took in total 9 hours spread over 6 days and the 1 week for the research. And the total profit, $8,576. If I divide that by 60 minutes, it gives me $952 per hour. Who would like to be paid $952 per hour? I mean, who wouldn't, right? It's such a simple, straightforward model. But you need to know the insides and outsides and shortcuts to making it work time out, time again, because that's what's going to make this happen for you right away in the next few weeks. Now, I'm a musician. I run a business called Inside a Music Business, like I told you about, and a few years ago I recorded this DVD. It's a 60-minute DVD called How to Get More Gigs, and I sell it on my website for $97. So I created a sales and download page via my outsources. I offered a discount, so I decided that I'm going to sell this product because I did my testing. I went and figured out how many people have paid gigs, how many people don't have enough gigs, how many people would really love to have gigs, and I really just made that process work a bit more stronger. And I did the testing, and I got some results. And I decided to work with this page. Now I promoted on this page for 10 days, and I had 200 sales. So within 10 days I had 200 sales on my DVD for $67. The DVD cost $1.50 to produce. And so the total net profit I made was $9,100 in profit, pure profit into my PayPal account. Now here's the thing, I'm going to share with you something really exciting about this. I decided to do a test based on what I learned from Tesco. I decided that instead of me going out there and creating this $67 offer instead of $97, I'm going to go out there and keep it at $97, but I'm going to instead give them a $30 coupon to get the DVD. So instead of giving them a $30 discount on the page, I'm just going to hand them a coupon that they can go to the website and redeem the coupon. Do you know how many sales I got just by doing that one small tactic? My sales in the same 10-day campaign, a few months later, was 356 sales. Pretty insane, just by changing that one thing around. 1.5 hours to record the product, which I originally did earlier on. I just had a camera in front of me. I recorded myself teaching the strategy for getting gigs. 2 hours to create the site, 2 hours to research and test, 3 hours for planning the campaign. Total hours spent 8.5 hours. Total net profit $9,100. Profit per hour $1,118. Now here's the crux of it all. If you could teach the system to somebody else and pay them a high-end $50 per hour, and $50 is quite a high fee, if you were to pay them $50 per hour to outsource this, wouldn't it be nice to still have about $1,000 per hour still coming in? And imagine now that they knew the entire system because they watched all my training, for example. Imagine that they were running a campaign for you maybe 3 times a week, or 4 times a week, or once a week. Because you were running one, they were running one, and the third person was running one. How many of these campaigns could you potentially run every week, every month, every quarter? And what kind of income could you put into your bank account as well? Now here's Emily. I'd like to tell you about Emily because this is a phenomenal story. Emily came to me and she said that I want to learn how to use social media to, build my tea business. She basically has this business where she sells herbal teas. She found this page with 500,000 fans and she decided to market to them. And she offered free tea samples which she mailed with an order form. Now here's the thing, after 6 days of promoting, so she did all the tests, and then she got onto the promotion. And after 6 days of promotion, she had 526 requests that she mailed out. So 526 requests that she mailed out, and she charged $1 for postage, and the upsell was for $99. Now here's the thing, she posted out this tea, and she included a form for $99. So she hasn't made any money yet on the front end, but here's what happened next. She generated a whopping 46% conversion rate. Now that's unheard of, but her sales material was so good. Now out of that 526, she got 242 sales, which is a net profit of $23,958. What do you think I told her next? I told her, Emily, here's what you need to do. Instead of charging $99, charge $39. Let's decrease the cost. But instead of charging $39 alone, get them into a continuity where every month or every quarter, you're going to automatically bill them and just ship them out some more tea. So now she's doing that, and hopefully I'll have some results to share with you all very soon with that idea too. So, what do you think? How do you think this entire thing works? Remember, this is not about promotion. This is not about getting out there and basically bombarding somebody else's sales page. You're just becoming a fan on somebody else's sales page. Because here's the thing, most people set up sales pages because they have an interest. They don't set up sales pages to sell fan pages rather, to sell something. They don't set up FB pages, fan pages, or like pages to go out and sell something. Most people just set it up because they have an interest. Like South Park, or like, another TV show, or like cricket, or like hockey, or like the Super Bowl. People just set up fan pages on these ideas. So, instead of you thinking about you're being salesy, get out of that mindset. Whoever's told you that on social media, it doesn't work. Social media is, if you get out to a networking event and somebody starts shouting, I got this product, go to this link, or here's my business card, do you think that that's going to work? Absolutely not, right? So, it's the same thing online. Just be yourself, be open, just share as if you're on the specific page. Because here's the thing, if you just get out there and in your first 2 or 3 posts, you start saying that I've got this tea, here's the link, or I've got this characters, go here, check it out, I've got this book, go check it out, then what's going to happen is they're just going to cancel and delete your posts on Facebook. The fan page owner is going to report you, and you're going to get out there and you're just not going to have that thing anymore. But if, however, you do this process, because I've never had a campaign banned. I've never had a campaign or an account banned or locked or limited or deleted, because all I've done is just engage and become such an active participant on that fan page that they just think that all I'm doing is recommending a link, and that's all I'm doing. What I'm doing is showing them a link to somewhere where they can go get something. So do you see? All I've done is turn conventional wisdom on its head and do things the opposite way. And the results are incredible every single time. So I'd like to invite you now. I'd like to invite you, and just consider this opportunity for yourself, to join me in a group of only 15 people who want to apply the immersion system starting this week and attract more leads, sales, and revenue into their life. I'd like you to consider how this program will work for you. Because I run this campaign week in, week out, and I'd like you to be a part of the system. I want you to experience immersion so you can have the profound results that it's having on me and various different clients as well. Now, before I tell you any more, I want to ask you a question. What would it be worth to you if I took time out of my schedule to work alongside you, hand in hand, hold you by the hand, and build you one immersion campaign for you? So build one of these campaigns for you. What would that be worth to you? So that you could be generating profits like the ones I've shown you. South Park campaign made $7,000. Rich Dad campaign made $8,000. Just one Tesco campaign pulled in around $200,000, £92,000. The soccer campaign made Alvin $4,000. Musician's Friend made $9,000. And Emily's tea campaign made $23,000, maybe $24,000. What would that be worth to you if I could create a campaign like that for you? Seriously, consider it. I'm about to offer you something so incredible it's about to blow your mind. I just want you to be prepared. What do most courses do? They just shove you a course and tell you to learn it. And you leave with no support and just some money lost. But because, obviously, time I go back a long way. So what I've decided to do is get some of my clients to actually work with me so I can build some of these campaigns for you, as well as show you how to do it. So I want you to know that I don't do that. I don't get out there and give you a course and just stick you in a corner and say, go watch these webinars and we'll work it for yourself. You can ask any of my students that experience. Here's Paul Brackley, for example. Paul Brackley says, it's been amazing. I didn't know very much at all about social media, and I've now come away with all the tools I need to build a profitable business. If you get a chance, get on the program. They are very, very much worth it. Here's Paul Barnett. He says, I've attended Covet's training several times. Each time I learn something new. My business has grown leaps and bounds from the discussions and lessons from Covet. The training showed me how to actually practically put it all into place, something that isn't done elsewhere. I thoroughly recommend you join now. Andrew Bridgewater. We've been learning, he's the author of this phenomenal book called The AV Diet, and he's written this thing about how he's used social media to get a huge number of traffic and leads to his various different weight loss programs. We've been learning useful material to put into practice. I now know how to drive traffic to the site and make simple changes to my website too, based on the template that we talked about. Simple stuff I would have had to pay others. I feel in control. If you're watching this, you need to act, you won't regret it. Galina says the training was very practical, instruction simple, and very easy to understand for such non-technical people like myself. You answered every one of our questions, which were often repeated again and again. And another thing, there is no hype about the way you deliver, just pure priceless knowledge, which I hope you've seen, by the way, this evening, that it's just about giving you the information straight away. So here's your invitation. Join me today in the Social Media Immersion Program, and my team and I are going to work hand in hand to build your first campaign for you. We're going to get out there and do the following. You heard correctly. We'll build the entire campaign for you within 31 days, keeping you involved every step of the way, and you can pocket 100% of the sales direct to your PayPal account. Here's what exactly I'll do for you. We'll run some tests. So we'll talk with you. If you've got some interest, we'll work with your interest. If you haven't, that's fine. We'll go out there and you give us the leeway to say, go and find some market out there, and we'll go and find some market out there for you. We'll run the tests. We'll run the 4 tests for you. We'll look at the insights, just like we did with Tesco's and all the other pages. And we'll find a market with a lot of people for you. We'll discover their needs. We'll figure out what it is they want. And then we'll talk about creating the product. So you and I will sit down and maybe we'll talk about creating the product or how we can get it made or all the sorts of different things. So if it's CPA or affiliate, that's fine too. We'll figure out how that works with your campaign too. We'll create the entire high converting sales platform. So we'll write the sales copy for you. Not only will we write the sales copy for you, we'll also build you the sales page. So we'll build you the sales page as well. What does that mean? It means that your entire platform is ready, connected to your PayPal account, ready to make money. We'll design a mini campaign that's ready to go. So we'll work on the mini campaign. I've designed tons and tons of these mini campaigns, and it's your time to get out there and use the mini campaign and get out there and work with it. And here's the crux of it all. I'm not connecting my PayPal account with it. You're connecting your PayPal account to it, meaning that you start seeing these sales come into your PayPal account. Now, you might be asking, why in the world would I offer that? Well, there are 2 reasons. One, of course, is that I'm doing this special webinar for Ty, and his audience are really wonderful, which is what he tells me, so I wanted to be able to share this with him. The second thing is this. It's quite simple, really. If we can help you build a campaign by doing the work and speeding up the process, I can give you the results and proof that you need so that you can build the confidence to make it happen every single week. Because if I was to give you a course, you would still be struggling a little bit, wavering around what to do, what do I do next. You know, I'm a little bit struggled. But if I just give you the results and show you that actually here's how it works, here's how you could do it, and then you can get out there and do it yourself, don't you think that makes more sense? Listen, my mission is this in life. My mission with my business is this. I want to impact as many online entrepreneurs and business owners as I can, because I know that real change in this world happens with business owners. If business owners change and create the lifestyle and profit that they love, they're going to impact their customers and their life and their family and their stuff and so forth, and the world is going to change. So I want to impact this with you as well, because I do this week in, week out. I have a wonderful life because of it, and I want to be able to share that with you. And here's the thing, while we're building the campaign for you, you'll be learning the intricate details of how it all works, and the exact step-by-step system that I use every single time. And I'm going to show you that via my 8-week webinar coaching program. So starting very soon, every single week, we're going to have a webinar for 8 weeks. And in those 8 weeks, I'm going to show you this 4-step system broken down into 8 weeks. So you can imagine how long that's going to be. We're going to go into every single test, every single marketplace insight. There are 18 of them, remember. We're going to go into how the sales copy should be written. We're going to go into how to find the pages on Facebook with demonstrations so that you can follow through on that process. We're going to go into what the 8 mental triggers are and what the 16 principles of influence are. And we're going to go into how to outsource this entire thing as well. So you'll get your first campaign built for you with our help, and you'll also learn the exact step-by-step formula through my 8 weekly webinars so you can replicate the system yourself. Now here's what you're going to learn in the webinars. Know how to spot hot selling marketplaces in social media within seconds. Master a step-by-step process for testing lucrative marketplaces with 300,000 plus targeted prospects, a good number of people to start with. You'll discover the exact questions to ask in order to conduct your market research and find the right products to sell. You'll learn the correct and simple way to engage over 300,000 prospects in conversation and lead them to the sale. Remember, we talked about engaging and leading. You'll become an instant authority to over 300,000 people in one marketplace within just a few days. This stuff happens instantly. You'll discover a killer lead generation magnet for your Facebook marketing needs. You'll achieve high conversions with my proven template for creating social media sales pages. You'll create persuasive marketing messages and deliver them via the mini campaign. That's not all. You'll master the engagement process through the mini campaign process. You'll discover how to build a relationship without even asking for their email address. Because it's social media, right? You don't need to go give me your email address. You just build a relationship and they'll come. You'll understand the social media sales mechanics and cash in every month. And you'll take charge of your business. You'll learn how to outsource the entire process to start you on your process to making that $100,000 a year that we talked about. And that's not all. If you ever get stuck at any point, if you have any questions, or if you're just not sure what to do next, I'm going to give you my time, my personal time, one-to-one, to help you break through any obstacles and to help you achieve your goals with social media. So I'm going to help you build the campaign for you, the first campaign. I'm going to give you the instructions on how you can go and do it with the webinars, and you have my one-to-one time to help you do this too. So here's what you get, a little bit of a recap. You'll have your first campaign built for you from scratch, the entire step-by-step formula taught through the 8 weekly coaching webinars. All webinars are recorded so you can access them in your members area once they've been broadcasted, and the one-to-one personal consultations with myself as you need them to help you profit online. I want to stress that we can only take 15 people because building a campaign for you takes the time. It takes hours and hours to do the research and for us to make sure that we can do it spot on, because I want to succeed 100% of the time. I've not yet built a campaign for a client that hasn't worked. Let me say that again. I've not yet built a campaign for a client that hasn't worked, because I pride myself on doing some great work. And this is what this is about. So there's only 15 spots available in this specific program that we're going to kick off today. What's my investment cut it, you're probably asking? Well, first I want you to consider the kind of money that I make on average when I create my own campaigns. I showed you some of these already. I'm offering to do the same for you. I've got a very established team of staff. This is not an outsourced team. This is my own team in the UK that work here in my office. They know this process inside out. And their job is to manage the entire process and are responsible, along with me, for getting it done. They build their own campaigns. They build campaigns for you as well. So they're giving their time in this process to work with me, and also I'm using them to help you build your campaign. So not only do you get me, you get access to people doing this stuff day in, day out, doing it for you. And of course you get my personal time in our one-to-one consultations, which is obviously a lot of my time to answer your questions and guide you in the right direction. So I'm not going to charge anyone what I could or what I should do, because I want to make it affordable in these tough times. So the fee to get started today is just $797, followed by an additional 2 monthly payments of $797. That's going to be me building you the entire campaign for you, me giving you the entire coaching system, and me giving you my one-to-one time to make sure this is all set up for you, and you know exactly what you're doing, and you're on your way to using this brand new, awesome, never reviewed before system to making it work for you. Or you can pay in full today for $1,997 in full for biggest savings. You want to get started right away because there are only 15 spots in this program. The link to go is kindlecashflow.com/SMI. And that's where you can go to get started right away. Now, you're backed by a guarantee. Your ironclad, no questions asked 30-day guarantee gives you this. Get started today for $797 or pay in full for biggest savings and start your journey through the entire program. If you find that the training hasn't been enjoyable, you haven't learned anything new, just ask me for it and receive your full refund, because you're protected in your investment by 100% risk-free guarantee. Alright, so I back the guarantee completely. You get out there and have a go with it. Get started today. There's only 15 spots, and that's the link you want to get to. I also promised you 2 special bonuses. The first one is this. You'll get a Google Plus One training session. I don't know if you know, but Google Plus One is said to be growing much faster than what Facebook was growing when it started. So I've put together a 60-minute online session on how to find, analyze, and scrutinize these marketplaces on Google Plus One. So you'll get an outsourcing handbook as well, which is a short report filled with my contact details of my workers, because you're going to want to outsource this process so that you can build a massive business as you get going. And I'll give you these contact people that you can contact outside that I've used in the past that you may want to go out there and check out yourself as well. Here's the thing. When you know how to tap into existing social media markets, a whole new world awaits for your business. I've shown you logically how this works. This is the best proof you can get. The graphs and the statistics show you that there's some massive work out there. The case studies show you that there's proof in this. It's the best you can get. So there's really no way you can fail using this method. one campaign, and you'll make back your investment. No need to break the bank, as you can get started today for just $797 US with 2 further installments. Click here to get started now, or go here rather to get started now. Type this in your address bar, kindlecashflow.com/SMI. Now, I remember this contest, 2 copies of my favorite business book of 2011, and I hope that you're ready to get started playing this. Before I do that, I'm going to just invite Ty back on the call. Ty, you got anything to say? You want to share some more insight into what you've heard, because I know you've been listening to this for the first time as well, and then maybe we'll run this contest as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's a great program, and this is why I wanted to wait sure I got someone that was an expert in regards to social media marketing before I presented this to you guys. You see, Caveat knows exactly what he's doing. He's been there. He's done this for years, and he's, simply put, he's an expert at it. I see that there's a lot of questions that are coming in as well, Caveat. So how about if we cover some of those questions before we get into the free book offer? I know that there's a lot of people that are waiting for that as well. But I would like to cover some of these questions that we have here. And guys, while we're getting to your questions, he has 15 slots that are available, so you want to make sure that you go to www.kindlecashflow.com/SMI, and we're putting that link within the chat box as well, so you guys can see that link. You can actually click onto that link directly from the questions box. All right? And Kevin, how about answering some of these questions? Are you ready?
Absolutely. Let's go for it. Shoot about me, and I'll give you the answers.
Cute. Cool. So, Jeff asked, is there a guarantee that's included?
Oh, absolutely. A 30-day guarantee. You know what? You go through the program, you start building your campaign, you go out and launch your campaign. If it doesn't work for you, you send me an email and I'll refund you right away. There's no worries about anything like that. If it doesn't work for you, if you haven't enjoyed it, if you don't feel like you're getting what you paid for, then I'll refund you. I must say, however, I'm going to chuck in there that I've not refunded anyone ever yet on this, because we build the campaign, and the fact that we build the campaign instantly somehow, most campaigns just seem to either break even or make you your money back. And if you can make your money back, or even if you just make the $2,000 back that you need to invest in this program, then isn't that great? You've done a whole new skill set, you've got your money back, and you're ready to go forth and build more campaigns. So the guarantee is absolutely there as well.